Hi guys, this is our first session to the Bearcat Passport to Success, and today we are talking about resume basics. My name's Peyton, and this is
Camilo, hi.
so our first thing that you need to know is that there is no right way to do a resume, and I know contractor that might sound a little difficult to understand, but if you ask 100 different people how to do a resume, they're gonna give you advice 100 different ways. And so if you want a good resume, check with some examples that of the industry you're going into. So if you're more creative, you might want to have a more creative resume, like let your creativeness shine through your resume. And you'll get a better understanding of what your employers are looking for.
Yeah, and so there is some important things you have to put in your resume in terms of general things. So one of them is your purpose, and that's basically something to grab attention of the employer, right? You're trying to put something that highlights who you are. Some other things you have to put there, of course, your contact information so they know how to contact you, your education here in Northwest or wherever you're going to, experiences, but more importantly, experiences that are related to your job. So if you're going into like school education, you have to put whether you have been like a TA or an OSI instructor or something else. And then volunteer activities, it's really important because it shows you're only not only present like in the academic scheme, but you're also like looking forward to help people to get involved, so that's really important. And then we're going to talk more later about adjectives, and that's really useful because it shows how you're using your language to show your skills and your achievements.
Okay, and so your purpose of your resume is to stand out compared to others who are applying for the job. So on average, a potential employer reading your resume is only going to take about 15 seconds to just look at it and see and put it in a pile of do they want you, do they not want you, and then so you have to grab their attention. Um, and basically, it should be a snapshot of why you.
Okay, and so because it only takes 15 seconds, you actually have like three main ways to organize your information so it's very like clear for them so they can see it very quickly. So one of them is chronological, so it means it's more so for people who have previous experience in their jobs. So it shows like I have been here, here, and here, or you can make it functional, meaning you can show your skills and your achievements. The last option would be a combination of the two. And again, it all depends on what you're looking for.
And so the first thing that we're going to cover today is what to put in your heading. So obviously put your name down, your position. You can do what you're applying for too. This one's kind of optional. You'll get mixed opinions about like if you need your position or not, especially if you go down to career services and have them look at your resume. Your contact information, such as your phone number and your email. But you want to make sure when you use your email, don't put your school email down. And then, like any social medias that you think are relevant, like your LinkedIn profile, if you have a website or a cool portfolio that you want to show off, put that on your heading, and make sure your resume and cover letter have that same contact information. You don't want to like differentiate that part.
And just to mention from the previous slide, I have been able to contact some people from like different schools only using my e-portfolio. So that's really powerful. So I really recommend and encourage you to look for that. So for your profile in this slide here, what we are basically talking is maybe 3, 4 sentences that are short, but are very powerful because they are going to show you who you are, why you should be hired, like your strengths, your more important skills. And so in here, you can read one really good example showing what you can show in your profile.
All right, and then next is education, and we're going to show you a few different examples on according to career services, this is how you should put your education on your resume. So you're going to need your school, your major, your GPA, and I would only suggest putting your GPA on your resume if it's above a 3.0, and then your graduation date. I wouldn't put like, if you're still attending school, let's say you attended school from 2018 and you haven't graduated yet, don't put 2018 to current, put a date, they know, or like expected graduation, don't put expected graduation and then a date, just put the date, they know. If it's 2022, that hasn't came yet, they know. And so some things to leave off is your high school education. They know you graduated high school, so only put your high school education on there if it's something that you think will give you a competitive advantage. So a lot of education majors might do this if they're applying to the same school district that they went to. And so if you look here, I put in what my degree audit looks like. So here you can find your official degree title, if it's a bachelor's of science or if it's a bachelor's of arts. You can find your major, your GPA, and your minor if you have one. I don't, so that's why that's blank. And then here's just some examples on how to write your education down. So it kind of just depends what you have. So if you're a double major, you go with the first one. If you have a master's and a bachelor's degree, you go with the second one. Master and bachelor degrees from the same institution. There's some more, like if you have 2 bachelor degrees from the same institution, or if you're a transfer student with an associate's degree.
All right, so now we're going to talk on how to describe the jobs you have been, or the works, or the jobs, sorry, you have been working on now. So it all depends. Are you going to talk in present tense, meaning it's now, it's happening, or are you going to talk in past tense, meaning it was in the past? And it's really important to say, don't use passive voice. So don't speak like they were telling you what to do. Instead, show you were the person in charge of your job. So for example, here we can see really good verbs for that. Let's see, I designed, I controlled, I coordinate. So don't say something like, I was told to, and then put something else, because it shows you're not taking action, you're not being proactive. So it's really important to think what verbs you're going to use. And in the presentation, we are going to give you more examples of that.
And I would also suggest, like on your resume, don't use like first person language. Just keep it kind of simple. Like if you controlled something, just put controlled, yada yada yada. You know. And then some other activities is your volunteer experience. This just gives them an kind of more of a general idea of what you're like. So if you do a lot of volunteering, then you might, depending on what organization you're trying to work for, that might be more suitable for you because of a lot of different reasons.
And so, for example, for those who want to go into like the medical field or anything or like something related, it's very important to have volunteering hours because it shows you have involvement with people and it shows you're like empathetic, that you want and care for others. And in this one, we can see, for example, leadership. And that's also really important, for example, in business or in any other industry, because if you are like a good leader, it shows you know how to communicate, how to interact with people, how to organize your time and the time of others. So that's also really useful to put there.
This is just some more examples of how to use powerful words. I would say this is a good, bad, or this is a medium example. I wouldn't say this is a bad example or not a not so good example because it could be better because you could quantify what you achieved and of your monthly sales. So like if you achieved $3,000 worth of sales in that month and that's like a record, put that in your resume. Do you have anything else to say about this?
Yeah, so think of this. For example, let's say you go to workout. Let's say somebody goes to workout and they lift 300 pounds. So do you think it's different if somebody tells you, hey, I'll go and work out, compared to, hey, I work out and I lift 300 pounds? Of course, the second case, it's going to be more astonishing. It's going to catch your attention because they are giving you numbers, and numbers catch the attention of potential employers. And the second part, and we're going to talk more about that later, it's achievements. It's not the same to say you're doing something, which is really good, don't get me wrong, but it's more important to say what you have done in the past, because there is something very important. A lot of people who are going into the industry or into one job are really skilled. They have the skills to do the job they are asking for. So what differentiates somebody to you is what you have done in the past, because it shows you have the skills, plus you know how to apply them in that specific position.
All right, and then here's some more examples that you can look through. So be a little bit more specific. So the bad one says it's just responsible for increasing sales. That's not necessarily bad, but if you want to go more depth, just say developed a new strategy generating over $4,700 in revenue. That sounds a lot more interesting to me. As if I was an employer, I think I would rather have the good experience bullet one.
In here, we want like to show you some of the action verbs we were talking before. So for example, analyzed, research, assisted, communicated, or created and developed. At the end of this presentation, we will give you way more of these verbs so you can use the one you want. Also, it's really important to say the second part, as you can see there, job descriptions. So very often people who are putting like jobs on internet or anywhere else, they put specific words in their like cover letter or in their resume. So it's really important that you're using the same words your employer is using, because that catches their attention. If you're using the same language, you are attracting what they want. So that's also really important to stand out.
With that, if it's a high profile job that you're applying for, like, there's going to be a ton of applicants. The first step in the employer looking at your resume might not even be really them looking at your resume. They might run it through a system that catches keywords. And so that's why it's important to use like the same words as what's on the job description, or what words similar to that.
Yeah, that's right. And go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So I don't really, you can go ahead on this slide. I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in this one, we're willing to show you more of these action verbs. So again, it all depends on what job you're looking for. So for example, improved and increased, that could work really well for like business or industry. I improved or I strengthened like a company sales or something like that. If you're going into maybe psychology or like education, you can say counseling, instructed, learned, organized, and then supervised or managed can go really well if you're like a manager of a restaurant or like a shopping place.
Mm-hmm. This is just talking about quantifying your achievements more, kind of like what we already talked about. So you can pause the video if you want and kind of read through this, but I don't think we'll spend very much time talking about it unless you have something to add.
No, and we also want to say this presentation will be available for you in Canvas. So if you want to like go back, read, look for any other type of information, you are very welcome. And also if you have any questions, you can email any of us and we will gladly help you.
So our next thing that we want to talk about is that this project that we're doing for the Bearcat Passport to Success, for the resume one in particular, we're actually drawing for prizes periodically through until March 31st. We haven't set the dates yet of when we're going to do those periodic drawings, but the sooner you get your resume to us, the more chances you get to be drawn for a prize. So we have a couple prizes that aren't just gift cards like we were picturing here. We have some other ones too that I know we have some resume paper and portfolios that we're handing out that are really good for interviews and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, and so it's really good for you, because you're creating your resume for your future and for your job. And then you can also get like money or prizes or gifts. So it's like a win-win for you. So we really encourage you to participate.
And if you're a bridge student, a 2020 bridge student, we also have a quiz up for you to take so you can earn credit for your scholarship. And then our last thing that we want to talk about is we have some links here to some examples, and it looks like they're on the career services. All of them are for career services site. And so we want to emphasize that if you need help with your resume, you could also come to us, or You could go to the professionals here on campus at Career Services, and they are located the first floor of the admin building. And they love to help you guys with your resumes. So go check them out.
Yeah, thank you all. We hope you have a great weekend and we will see you later.